Yeah, it was like everybody knew somebody who was in some way connected to the mob. In some way, you know? I just one dude. You want to hear a crazy story? Whew. There's one guy. He's dead now. I could talk about him. His name is Richie, and he went to jail while I knew him. He was arrested for a murder that I don't think they ever got him on, but this person who was killed wasn't just killed. They broke every bone in his body with a hammer and kept injecting him with cocaine to keep him awake.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he would black out from the pain, and they would inject him with cocaine to wake him back up again. And then they would break another bone. They were breaking all of his bones with a hammer. They cut his hands off, cut his head off. They cut everything off. And then when they found, you know, this broken heap of a body, he was somehow connected to this guy that I knew who sold coke. And this guy had gone to jail. And I knew him before he went to jail. He was another guy from Taekwondo. I knew him before he went to jail. He was one person. He was a young guy. I think when he went to jail, I was 16, and I think he was 20. And then when he got out of jail, I was 20, and he was 24. And he had scars all over his body where he tried to sand off his tattoos. He had tattoos all over his arms. And I don't know what the tattoos were, whether they were racist or whether he just didn't want them anymore. But he had like either acid burns or scars, like whatever, however the fuck he tried to get the tattoos off, all over his arms. Like his arms are covered in scars. And he wasn't good. He wasn't like a talented martial artist, but he was insanely tough. Like insanely aggressive and insanely tough. And when you sparred him, you were fighting for your life, for your life. He would come at me and try to fucking kill me. I mean, fucking kill you. Throwing looping punches with every fucking ounce of his being. And I'm moving around and I'm like, oh, we're fighting to the death here. We're fighting. This is not sparring. We only sparred a couple of times before this, but one time he had me cornered. He trapped me in a corner and hit me with a fucking bomb on the top of my head. Just boom, like as hard as he could punch. He was a strong guy. He was quite a bit bigger than me, too.
Irish guy?
I think he was Italian. I kicked him in the head so hard it broke his cheek. Like his cheek shifted over.
Oh.
Like his face, I wheel kicked him. So I hit him with my heel in his face, and he dropped down. He collapsed, went down to his went down like face first, got up on his all fours, got back up again, wanted to keep going.
Oh.
And I go, Richie, you got to look in the mirror. I go, come look in the mirror. And he's like, oh, fuck. And I go, yeah, you can't spar anymore, dude. He wanted to kill me. He wanted to keep going. After I basically kicked his face in half.
Jesus.
I hit him so hard. It wasn't a sparring session. It was an I'm trying to kill you, you're trying to kill me session. And I remember setting him up. Boom! And I hit him with that thing, and he face planted. Most people would have just went out. But he was so angry and so mean. He was trying to get up.
It's fucking scary.
But I was the last time I sparred with him. I'm like, we're not sparring anymore, dude. I'm not fighting to the death with some guy who I'm kind of friendly with.
Right.
I was friendly with him other than that. Like, you would never guess. I remember one time we went out. It was me and him and these two girls, and they were, like, real weird, right? And, this one girl was like, Richie, when are we going to get that stuff? I go, what stuff are you going to get? And he's like, and she's like, he's going to get us some Coke. I go, you don't want any Coke. She goes, fuck you. I was trying to tell her she doesn't want Coke. She's like, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm hanging out with this guy, stupid.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was one of the rare times I hung out with him outside of the gym. He told me a story about how he had to fight off these guys with a broomstick in jail, and how he's beating these guys to death with a broomstick. There's a horrible story about him being forced to mop up something in a bathroom, and these guys cornered him, and he's just fucking attacking them with this broomstick, and about how he got extra time for that. I forget what he went to jail for. I assume it was probably drug-related. I don't remember what it was, but I remember just being so nervous about being connected to people like that, like knowing people like that from the gym, because there was people like that. They always wanted to learn how to fight. So because you knew, you're teaching martial arts, you're training. There's always those guys would always come in. And whenever it was time to spar, scary times. There was no pulling back. There was no, like, if you were sparring with some friends, like I was sparring with, like, my friend Leroy Rodriguez, a good friend of mine who was so fast as lightning. This Puerto Rican guy was a bad motherfucker. But he would not hurt me. When we would spar, we would go hard, but he would hold back from hurting you. Like you could trust certain people. While you were sparring, you knew there was just sparring. There was other people. It was to the death. It's terrible.
Crazy.
Not only that, we did it over a fucking thin office carpet on top of concrete. It was just office carpet on top of concrete. So when people would fall,
Oh, God.
their head would bounce off the concrete.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah. It was horrible.
Good Lord.
That's the 80s, bro. Shit was different.
Jeez Louise. No good, man.
So terrible. So terrible back then, man.